Now, to give a bit of context, this actually happened to one of my school friends back in 2013. Now, they were visiting Virginia at the time of the story, and I won't be saying the actual location of this Walmart, but it was definitely located in Virginia. One of my friends at the time of the story, we will call him by the name Jesse. Jesse was visiting his other side of this family, which happened to be his mom's side of this family during that time, and it was around the summer of 2013. So Jesse, along with his cousin Rick, they decided to go and do some exploring. They, of course, decided they would explore an abandoned Walmart that was not far from the house where Rick lived in. So they pretty much left maybe around 8 or something, and they told the parents where they were going and what time they'll be back. They didn't say the exact location, so Jesse and Rick ended up heading over to that Walmart. When they got to Walmart, they ended up looking to see that there was nobody and no cars were parked, meaning that there was no security. They end up getting closer to the door and they ended up going inside Walmart. Now, inside of Walmart was pretty abandoned. There wasn't really anything much. However, it was a really old Walmart, so it was abandoned for a while. While they looked around, they ended up seeing that they saw some stuff that it was in Walmart, but not there. Some cash registers. They thought it would be funny to go see if they had cash in them, to which they didn't. Obviously, they were pretty confused at the fact that the Walmart was abandoned, but they decided to explore the area and kind of mess around a little bit. As Jesse and Rick looked up, they thought they could hear what sounded like footsteps darting across the whole room of Walmart. At first, Jesse asked Rick if he was just doing that just to play around, but Rick told him that it wasn't him. That's when Jesse started to get a bad feeling that they might be being watched and they had to look. When they looked, they ended up seeing that there could be someone inside the Walmart. They couldn't really tell of his face or any expression, but he was just staring directly at them. They were unsure if they should make a run for it or not. It wasn't until a few minutes later they blinked for a minute, looking at each other, wondering how the hell did that guy get inside Walmart when they looked and he was gone. They ended up looking around that abandoned Walmart, thinking that maybe the guy could have hid somewhere just to try and scare them, but they couldn't find him anywhere. That's when they decided to get out of Walmart. They ended up going back home, and the parents asked them if they were okay since they were gone for quite a bit and hadn't come back in a while, but they didn't tell their parents about what actually happened. They would be afraid that, they would get in a lot of trouble for going into an abandoned place, but nothing like that has ever happened again. Now, this is why Jesse and Rick never go to abandoned places again, because they aren't sure as to who or what was in that building that day, in that abandoned Walmart, and they don't plan to return to ever find out. That Walmart is still there to this day, and they don't even plan to go back there to find out if someone was actually there or if it was completely paranormal. That really shakes them up to this day. Now, my friend Alex used to work at Walmart, and this took place back in 2018. Now, long story short, Alex got the night shifts as he had school in the morning, so he got a list of night shifts. One of the times it happened to be on a weekend, so Alex had to stay until closing time. Now, he didn't really mind closing time as it usually was quiet in Walmart, but occasionally they would have some people come in for a few things or to get something. As Alex was doing his shift, he ends up looking to see that there were two men wearing to be in trench coats walking inside Walmart. At first, he didn't think of anything of it, but the presence really felt really off, and that really unsettled Alex. Alex wasn't even sure what to describe, but it seemed about paranoia and fear that was written all over his face. Now, those people approach him and say, "Hey, Alex, where can you find the glove compartment?" As soon as Alex explained where they could find the gloves, he said, one of the guys turned and said, "Okay, what time do you get off of work?" Alex lied, saying that he gets off at 9, and those men happened to go to the glove compartment. And whatever happened after that, Alex had to lie, telling the men what time he gets off, because he really had a bad feeling about those people. Now, it wasn't until closing time when Alex took the bus back home, but he never saw those men. It wasn't until maybe a day or two later when Alex was sleeping, and it happened to be on Saturday, when he woke up to his phone ringing. Now, he ended up picking up the phone and asking who it was, and it was the manager. He said, "Hey, Alex, there were two men that happened to be not far. They asked if you were here." Obviously, Alex explained the whole ordeal and explained who those men were and that he had to lie, so because he had a really bad feeling about that man. Now, police were called and they investigated a Walmart, and Alex gave them their statement. Alex went back to work the next day, and this is when things started to get really creepy. Now, as Alex was exiting out of Walmart the next day, he saw a really suspicious looking vehicle driving slowly past him. Now, at first, Alex didn't want to look in the car, thinking it could be those same men again, but of course, the car then drove off, and Alex wasn't really sure as to who this car was. A couple of times when he did night shifts, he had seen that same car again at least a few times, but eventually that car stopped coming back to Walmart. It eventually turned into a month, and he still hasn't seen that car since, thinking those men probably who were stalking him given up, or they were caught by the police. He wasn't updated on the situation by the cops, so he had to assume that someone had probably called the cops on him and stuff, which he really hopes that was the case, but there was no real reason as to why they were going after him. But this obviously was one of the most scariest but really weird experience that he's ever seen. He doesn't even know what to think of it. He doesn't do night shifts after getting out of high school, and he mainly stick to day shifts. He's never worked the night shifts again, and he really doesn't think he'll be doing any more anytime soon. Now, before I begin, this is not really the type of story to make you jump out of your seat, but it's definitely one that my dad experienced back then. Now, I can't remember the exact year, but for some reason he was going to Walmart to pick up something, as my mom asked him to pick up something. Now, at the time, he went into Walmart, and when he got there, he had to use the bathroom. So he went inside the bathroom in the stall, one of the stalls, and as he was in there, he ended up hearing what sounded like a child giggling. At first, he was confused, thinking that maybe there was someone with the child inside, but there was barely anybody in the stall at that time. He ends up looking at the stall next to him after he finished his business, but he couldn't see anyone. Then he ended up hearing what seemed to be a laugh of a child. That's when he ended up looking over to see there was absolutely no one there. He was really confused as to why this was going on, so he did a viral check at the bathroom. Afterwards, when he got out of the bathroom, he reported the incident to one of the staff at the Walmart, and they checked the area, but they couldn't find any kid. Either my dad was hearing things, or whatever happened was completely paranormal.